Cancer, this is your weekly tarot card reading from Born Without Boundaries Tarot. It is for Cancer, Sun, Moon, and Rising sign. I'm going to start off with the astrology. For those of you, for some weird, strange, unholy reason, if you're not interested in the astrology, you can skip ahead to the reading. It's about 6 minutes in, but they both relate. So I'm going to start off with the astrology. I think it's exceptionally important. I always create an extended reading. That link is below. For those of you who want to continue the message with me, go deeper into the message and get more details. That's what it provides for you. So I hope to see you there. Or you can join the Unbound membership to this channel, because that gives you access, unlimited access to all of the extended readings. And you can just watch all of them, even from a couple months ago. You know, so it's like plus you get all the other channel perks too. So I hope you'll consider that. Please remember to subscribe to the channel and ring that notification bell so that you guys know when I upload your favorite content. Cancerian content gets uploaded every single Friday at 9 a.m. That's Pacific time. And I also do a daily live tarot card reading over on my second YouTube channel, Astrology Motivation. So check me out. Hopefully you'll subscribe over there and you'll get to join in those general chats as well. So the astrology is, and I said this a couple of times, it's contentious. This new moon for Cancerians, I really hoped to God was going to be, like, as a Cancerian, I wanted it to be beautiful. It's not going to be beautiful. It's contentious. It's going to point out how we've allowed ourselves to be steamrolled, or maybe how we've steamrolled others. It's going to point out those points of contention where we have spread ourselves too thin because we were insecure and tried to do too much, thinking, oh, if we do too much, we're going to be so much better. We're going to be so much better off. No, it's not like that. The new moon was legitimately the sun combust the moon, burning up the moon. So that ego and what we desire, burning up the moon, outshining it, squared to Jupiter, meaning it just wants to keep growing and expanding, but like a shrapnel bomb. That's exactly what it is. If you have too many things that you're trying to hold on to, it's going to blow apart and be like a shrapnel bomb and shred through everything. So the way to have worked that energy for the new moon is to limit yourself, cut things down, trim the fat, focus on just what's important, getting done what's important and not spreading yourself too thin. And for those of you who are asking, for those people who are asking to spread you too thin, you can't trust them. Know that. Take them for face value. If somebody shows you who they are, believe them the first time. That's not my quote. God bless Maya Angelou. You got to listen to that quote, baby. Because I'll tell you right now, Cancerians, we just feel like our value is, have we made everybody else happy and have we satisfied everybody else's needs? And it's a bunch of fucking bullshit. And I'm telling you this because Saturday, just the day after you're watching this video, the moon, creates a grand square or a grand cross in the sky. And we are Uranus is directly opposite from that south node, meaning we got to fucking change, but we haven't let ourselves. And then the moon is in direct opposition to Saturn, meaning that it's almost like depression. It's kind of like what it is, like feeling like things are just all going to fall apart, too restricted, understanding that just because we feel something doesn't mean we have to give meaning to it. And if we do, we always try to make ourselves feel better by doing the next thing. And that's why we take on too much. And it comes a time when it gets so cumbersome, you break. And I do feel like this is going to be a really hard week for Cancerians. However, it is a wonderful way to make us trim our fat, because maybe we won't do it ourselves. And I've told you guys all year, the universe is very helpful. It is not in the punishing mode. It is in the teaching mode. So it is trying to make us do our best. And if sometimes it's got to go tough, teacher, then that's what it's going to do. And this week for us, that's where it's at. It's like tough, teacher. Okay, how much do I got to fucking tell you? How many times? How hard do I got to make it? How uncomfortable do I got to make it? This, Cancerians, is when you get to the point this week when you are finally, fuck it, I'm not taking no more shit. And you all know, as your experience from as being Cancerians, we all get to that point, right? We take too much, and then we make excuses for it. And then we continue to take too much. This is when it's done. This is when you're done. This is when you're so exhausted for carrying the load, you fucking dump the load and let it float away. Because you have to. Baby, you had to. Why? Because don't you want to get someplace? God damn it, don't you want to go somewhere? And you're supposed to. You're supposed to. You're supposed to be headed forward. And I would really you're supposed to be going forward. So this is what I'm going to say from the Cancerian desperation and fear. Desperation and fear doesn't really help you out at all this week. It's only faith. It's only faith. And faith in you. If you don't feel it and it ain't right for you, you are allowed to say no. Repeat that again. If you don't feel it and it ain't right for you, you are allowed to say no. I feel like this week is our relapse. It's our relapse into all the things that we did when we were weaker before we evolved. Like all those parts of ourselves that we hadn't completely cleansed, they're coming up to be washed. They're coming up to be fixed. Like that's what's happening this week. And like go with the flow and realize it's happening to help you. You are allowed to accept from people without having to give in return. You are allowed for people to treat you nicely without having to feel like you owe them anything. You don't owe anybody anything for giving you what you are worth. Let's get into the cards. Seriously, there's just a lot of contention around the moon right now. Act as if. So this is chameleon. You haven't been saying something. You've been just like, oh, blend in. Try to blend in. I'm not going to say anything. I don't want any attention. Or you feel invisible. You feel like you haven't been noticed. Why? Of course you haven't been noticed. You're carrying so much shit for other people that you're camouflaged. You're camouflaged into the junk drawer. Cancer. Act as if. This could also be a person in your life that is pretending, not really revealing themselves to you. You could feel that they're there. And as a Cancerian, you should never trust your eyes. You should always trust your instincts because we are the mother of illusion. We are deception. We are reflecting somebody else's visage. That's what we are. You know, so it's almost like, why aren't you trusting your feelings? They're the only things you really got. And by feelings, I don't mean your emotions. Fuck your emotions. Your emotions don't matter as much as you give them credit for. I'm talking about vibrations, your psychic connection, your ability to tap into energetic vibrations. You feel that shit from a mile away like goddamn sonar. Why aren't you trusting it? Okay. Dream the world into being. Goals, aspirations, but still something lurking in the background. This could be ambition. Turn knowledge into wisdom. See, let me tell you something. You're going to see somebody real clear this week. It's going to be real clear, especially from that new moon energy. And I know that's not part of this week. That was part of last week for these readings. But you've seen them really clearly. You get it. You just get their modality, how they do things. And ultimately, you have to let go of the fantasy and accept the reality and decide, is this right for me? It's not about hate. It's about acceptance. It's about just saying, you know what? If this is right for you, okay. But it's not right for me and it doesn't have to be. And so I'm going to say no, thank you, have a nice day. You know, it's like that's how you turn it into wisdom. You've seen where this has led in the past. You know this vibration. Now it's time for you to show the universe that you know, that you recognize, and that you've changed. Be generous of spirit. Okay, so this is lion energy. And I think that's what it is. You are generous of spirit, and you are kind-hearted, and you are loyal, right? And there's just a sense, but that's not what generous means. Generous means let your spirit be large. Let your spirit be bold. Let your spirit be courageous. Let your spirit be progressive, right? Let your spirit move forward without being squashed by all the people who want to sit on your back for a ride. right? Let your spirit take over and put your energy and put your effort into where your heart really is, right? That's what it means. This is courage, finding courage. This is the sun, this is the moon, finding courage in the completeness, in the certainty, because that's what the new moon would have given you. Certainty about what you feel, about what it is that's really important to you and who the fuck you are, right? It's sort of when the sun and the moon become one, and the moon doesn't have to reflect anything. It just is. It's itself when it's dark. And that's when you find yourself. You find yourself in the dark, and that's when the light goes on. Because you're the light. It's your sincere light. Because the light of God is inside of you, right? That's how it happens. So this is you getting wise to something. And realizing, for better or worse, it's okay to be me. And yeah, okay, all right, keep coming. Time for a beginner mind. This, yeah, totally changing your modality about the choices that you make. This could even be time for a beginner mind. Friendships, deciding to change who you hang around with or who is important to you. Where you put your time, effort, energy, and attention. Being more picky, raising your standards. All of those things could be here. This is Aquarius energy, so it does have to do with community, generosity. But who am I supposed to be generous to? Everybody? No. Let it shine. This is scorpionic energy, but it's scorpionic energy as in resurrective energy. You're finding yourself again after you feel completely squashed. And this is where the explosion happens, and I think the explosion kind of liberates you. Let it shine is say what you need to say. Like tell it to the darkness. Not having any fear or any intimidation to basically show who you really are. Show who you really are, even if it's ugly. Show who you really are, even if it's... Let me tell you something, it's going to be extraordinary and it's going to be strong, and make your dreams real. It's like you're shining a light on the poison, like you're shining a light on the toxin. You're shining a light into the web that tried to trap you, and you're calling somebody out on their fucking bullshit. So who the hell is this person? Who? Actually, let me use this deck. Who? Who is this person? Who is this person? Who? Somebody who keeps coming, who won't give up, who's relentless. You know, if you say no, they just keep asking. Do you know this person? Could be a Virgo. Could be a hermit. Could be, I don't know. Somebody who's isolated in the way. It's almost like somebody who just keeps coming, just keeps working. They're the type of energy that this is a person who continues to ask and ask and ask and ask and ask. Little by little will wear you down over time. And it's almost like you're getting wise to them. Because listen, let me say this to you, Cancerians. Because I've heard the memes floating around, and sometimes I agree with them. Be a goddamn adult and say what you feel. Okay. But there are a lot of different ways to say what you feel. You don't have to say it in words. As humans have evolved over hundreds of thousands of years, only the infinitesimal last few thousand years has verbal, vocal, or especially written communication been any part of who we are or what we do. Right? How we communicate. So in other words, every human, unless they sincerely have some sort of disability or disorder, which is okay, they can pick up on nonverbal cues. There's nonverbal communication going on all the fucking time. And so I can guarantee you that this motherfucker knows exactly how you felt, even though you couldn't articulate it. But they just sat there and was like, well, I'm going to ask and ask and ask. And if you can't tell me how you feel, then I don't have to respect it. No, they don't have to respect it because they're disrespectful. Not because you weren't grown up enough to be able to say it with words. Because you said it with vibes, you said it with emotions, you said it with hesitation, you said it with confusion, you let them know you weren't comfortable in many different ways, and they continued to steamroll you thinking that they had a right to manipulate with your brain, with your logic, bartering. And that's about them. That's not about you. But you have every right to look them in the eye and be like, fuck you. You don't make me comfortable. And that's all I care about. You don't make me comfortable. And what that means to me is I don't feel at home with you. And let me tell you something, Cancerians. Listen to me real carefully. You are home. Everywhere you go, you carry the little shell on your back. You are the experts at home. If somebody is making you feel not at home or like you got sand under that shell, it's because the bitch don't belong there. You don't need words. You don't need rationale. You don't need the fucking system of numbers. You know very well where it's right and where it's wrong. And if it's wrong, spit that sand out. Let it go find another fucking place to be. Trust what you know. And it's not coming in logic. It's coming in soul. If it ain't right, it ain't right. And it's okay for you to mark those boundaries. I know what my home is supposed to feel like. I know what I'm supposed to feel like, what I feel like when I'm home. Home being that sense of rightness, that sense of balance. Somebody tries to always convince you to be off balance because they're exploiting you. They're working you. And you may not pick up on it real quick because I'm just going to say it. We're not the brightest cats when it comes to our brain. We don't think quickly. Mercury is going into Cancer this week. Now, let me tell you, the mental capacity slows way the fuck down. But it gets a hell of a lot more intuitive. So don't trust what you know. Trust what you understand. Trust what you absolutely are certain of, even if you can't completely articulate it. Because ultimately, Cancerians, as soon as Mercury drops into Cancer, there is that sense of, do I let my emotions make my decisions for me? Or do I let my intuition take over? You have to let your intuition take over. You know where home is. That is your beacon light. Call this motherfucker out. Because they have been relentless with their logic. And honestly, their logic don't add up for you. I either like you or I don't. And the truth about us is we know whether we like somebody almost immediately, but we always talk ourselves out of it because we don't want to hurt their feelings. And that's how a lot of fucking turds get into our garden. Okay? This is about learning that rule the first time. And if I get a vibe off you that I don't like, you're not welcome into my world. So then these cards turn out now to fight for your standards and be willing to be alone until the right people come along, not the wrong people. But this is definitely when you start to draw some real clear boundaries. It's necessary. It's necessary. And yes, you may have had this reading. Every once in a while, we got to clean out the shell. We got to clean out the turds. People slip by us all the time because we want to help people and we want everybody to feel good and happy, except us. So every once in a while, we got to do some fucking cleaning. And this is kind of like that day. This is legitimately cleaning out the turds. That's what it is. This is the week we clean out the fucking turds. Or clean out the fucking sand. You know, we're not an oyster. We're like, the symbol is crab or the dung beetle. Right? Dung beetle rolls in shit all the time. It gets too comfortable there. Crab is not an oyster. When sand goes into crab's shell, it doesn't make a fucking pearl. It just makes things hard and uncomfortable and it never stops. So the crab has then got to like get out of that shell, shed its full skin and start fucking new. Right? And that's kind of what we got to do. It's time to shed that shell and all the turds who have settled underneath it along with it. I'm just letting you know. Once we do that, what do you got for Cancer? What do you got? Have faith in your dreams. That's beautiful. Have faith. Because I think our faith has been waning. And that's why when our faith wanes or things don't happen, that's when we use other people, like we let in too many people. You know, we get extra vulnerable. And yeah, people will know that and just take advantage of us. You know, because they want something from us, from who we are. And so ultimately, it's just a sense of, just because your dreams haven't manifested yet doesn't mean they're not on the way to it. You guys, this is the crescent moon, baby. Waxing. That's where we are now. We're at the waxing crescent because we just had a new moon. It is building. The momentum is building. Who do you want who do you want alongside you when your dreams come true? And who is the trash you got to take out now? This is what the cleaning is about. Because your dreams are set to manifest in a cycle. So ultimately, who do you want and who don't you want? I tell you, we got caution and then we got stop. That's funny. Gemini in reverse. Of course, this is manipulative and cranially manipulative. A false friend, or you know, somebody's a sort of just like got an ugly side to them that they try to hide. Could it be a Gemini? Sure. I don't think that's necessarily. I think it's friendship. This is a it could be the friendship itself that doesn't actually make sense, and yeah, it could be that. Yeah, it's like somebody's just been hiding in the wings. It's like so that you won't catch them out. It's kind of really, I don't like it. But look at what we got. We got caution. So you were warned. Right? You were definitely warned. There was warning signs here. Then we got 5. Got to change this shit. And then we just got fucking stop. You know, it's like, this is what it is. This is exactly what it is. You were warned. You saw red flags. And you thought, oh, maybe it'll change. Maybe they'll change. And now the universe is like, stop. The change is going to come when you get out of there. Get out of the red flag field or get those people out of your life. That's when it's going to, that's the change. The change is don't tolerate it anymore. Let's go to the extended.